Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 17th of September. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, let's have a look at where we are. In terms of the post I did a couple of days ago, obviously the last of the bullish days in the bullish leaning period we've had over the last 10 days or so was yesterday, and we're neutral today and tomorrow, and we've got a bearish leaning day on OPEX on Friday. We've then got basically bearish leaning tape into the end of the month, with the exception of the 26th of September. So main new high yesterday, looks like possibly a little bull flag forming here. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and that hasn't made target yet. On NQ, we've got no current negative divergence here, but again, this could be a little bull flag. But the reason I'm thinking that mainly is because here on RTY, where we haven't been making new highs this week, we've got a larger bull flag. And I'm wondering about a retest of the high here. Obviously, that could run higher. We've got an IHS target, which is not too far above, but this looks an awful lot like a bull flag. And on YM, it also looks like a bull flag. We will see how that goes today, but if these break up, then we're going to see retest of the highs, and we'll likely see higher highs again on ES and NQ. Looking at DAX, this looked like a bear flag forming. Well, actually, it turned out to be a triangle, I think. Consolidation setting up a retest of the low, and we've gone down and we've retested that low. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing here, potential little level bottom. Not seeing an awful lot of reason for this to play out to the upside, to be honest, but it's there, so I've marked it down. ESTX, we've seen some weakness here. If we get down below this low here, so maybe in the 53, 55 area, then this IHS invalidates. No, actually, that's at the monthly pivot area, 53.50. So if we get down below the right shoulder low on this IHS, then that invalidates the inverted head and shoulders and sets up a retest of the low. This could alternatively be read as a bear flag as well, and I'm leaning towards that being the correct interpretation. Watching monthly pivot at 53.50, that breaks and converts, and that's setting up a retest of the low. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And on SPX, we haven't really seen any let up here, so we've not seen any pullback on the RSI 5. If we are going to see, if we went directly into new highs from here, obviously that wouldn't set up any negative divergence, and we wouldn't get any on Qs either. In terms of the potential targets above, Qs are still fairly massively short of those targets, and I'm not really thinking they're on the cards at the moment. SPX is getting closer, but we probably still need to go up another 15 handles to hit this trend line. And at the moment, we're not really seeing that as likely, but I am thinking that we're overdue retest the highs on Dia and IWM. I'm thinking we may well get that. In terms of Dia, we were hitting the support trend line on YM, but we haven't quite hit it yet on the Dia 15-minute chart. This is the move up from the low, basically at the start of August, and this kind of looks like a bull flag as well. Looking at the IWM chart, IWM, again, this looks like a small bull flag forming. Here we have actually tested the rising support from the August 1st low, and this would be an obvious area to retest the high from. If we do retest that high, then of course I would be looking at this IHS here. We came very close to the target the other day. We got 240.25. The retest of the all-time high is at 242.35. I'm expecting to see that in the next few weeks. It's possible we could see that this week. So if we do see a retest of the high on these little bull flags, then I'd be leaning towards seeing that. All right, DAX. DAX has been going lower here, and it may well continue lower. We're at the daily lower band. Obviously, the Europeans are, well, they thought they'd made a deal in terms of trade with Trump, but that's actually been undermined because then Trump started indicating that anything containing metals, which are being under a 50% tariff, their metal content needs to be tariffed on that as well as the other tariffs, and that's actually affecting the Germans quite badly. I don't see any particular reason to think this is going to retest this high. Could it be a bull flag? Maybe. Really, I'm thinking that we may. The obvious next target is a test of the double top support in the 23,000 area. Looking at Nikkei, Nikkei has gone a little higher, hasn't quite made it up to this trend line, which I've got in the 45,500 area. I'm still thinking that's potentially on the table. If we do see that, then the RSI 14 sell signal would probably fail. On that, we'll see. But we might get another RSI 5 sell signal, which are the better, tend to be the best signals anyway. All right, let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we saw a decent move down, and I think that has resolved the short-term direction. We had, let's have a quick look at the other currencies. EURUSD, we've gone back up and we've retested this July high. On GBP USD, we haven't made it quite as far as that. 60-minute sell signal fixed, but we have retested this high, wondering whether it might continue up and retest the rest. USD JPY, nothing really clear in terms of patterns here, but I'm wondering about a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing here. On USD CAD, we've got this big head and shoulders, potential head and shoulders which have been forming, and I've got to say it's a very nice head and shoulders. This could well break down. I've marked in the arrows, and it hasn't broken down yet, but I'm expecting to see at least some more downside on the dollar. Not a lot to say on Australian dollar or NZ. Let's go into the currency charts. So hang on, which I actually had forgotten to open. But it's worth having a decent look at the currencies and bonds today, although I've already covered these on the big picture chart, of course. The main thing I'm mainly watching on the US dollar chart is this chart here on the daily chart, and sorry, bear with me a moment. Okay, we had an IHS here, and that IHS has failed with a target basically to retest this low here at 96.38. This is the bear flag. It is playing out, and we've made it down to 96.56. That's not quite 96.38. I'm expecting to see a full retest of that low, and this is on the spot price. Yeah, cash settled. So I'm expecting to see this go a little lower. That could be the second low of a double bottom, or it could be the start of a breakdown. We have broken down now below this main rising megaphone support from the low in 2011, which I was saying if we were going to retest this low, we would break this trend line, and we've now broken this trend line. I'm leaning towards this putting us in a topping pattern, but it doesn't currently negate the bullish scenario. In fact, actually, the best way to start the bullish scenario really would have been a retest of this low here, which we're in the process of cutting, and then setting up a double bottom, which could take us back into the 103, 104 area, and the big mass of longer term moving averages there. All right, let's have a look at bonds. Now, bonds, obviously, this is going to be a big week for bonds. And we've got a potential double top here. We've got some negative divergence on the daily charts. On bonds, we've got some negative divergence on the hourly charts in terms of sell signals which were already fixed, but we're waiting for the interest rate number and what the reaction to that will be. I'm doing the post, and I'll probably be working on it most of the day. I might publish it late in today or tomorrow morning, but talking about basically interest rates and where I'm thinking these may be going from here. But this is obviously a key moment. And we will see how that goes. The yen, I was thinking, might retest the high, but it hasn't quite managed that. The 60-minute sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. We will see how that develops. I'm not going to do the bigger picture charts on those, but I've already covered those on the bigger picture, of course. CL, we've seen a nice little rise here. I am thinking overall my lean is to the downside, but it could be, of course, that I'm mistaken. We need to see more moves on the upside if we are actually going to see anything sustainable. Particularly on HO, I was marking in this possible trend line here up in the 2.46 area, and I think that could be a target here. This could be a double top, but it really is oversized, so I don't know about that. It's very obviously oversized. This is oversized as well, but this is a slightly more credible looking double top on RBOB. This has retested this high here, which I was expecting, and HO has retested this high here, which I was expecting. All right, NG. NG could be, we've got a possible IHS here. It doesn't look quite the same on the bigger picture chart, but I am wondering if this is going to break up. As I've been saying for weeks, we are coming into a seasonally strong period where the futures rolls are assuming that natural gas is going to go up by at least 1.1 to 1.2. This could be the start of that move. I'd love to see a retest of this low, but it may be that we're just not going to get a possible 60-minute sell signal break. All right, GC, I'm wondering about some retracement here. I'm not seeing that so much on the GC chart, but I am seeing it on the GDX charts. SI, we've seen a pretty sharp pullback. Palladium, we've got this head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 1125 area, and that's got halfway there. It may well get the rest of the way. Platinum has come back in and retested this low. This could be an overall bull flag forming, but I'm certainly wondering about a test of the monthly pivot at 1342.23. HG is even showing some weakness as well after a period of really this very, very long bear flag, which I was not expecting to be anything like as long as this. I think this is going to still deliver a retest of 4.38 in due course, hopefully sooner rather than later. Right, let's have a look at commodities. KC, we had a nice looking little level top here and we broke it. I'm still leaning towards this going a little higher, but I'm wondering if this has turned already. But the 60-minute sell signal has pretty much made target, so I've signed it off. SB, wondering about a bear flag breaking down with a target at a retest of this low. On CC, mainly leaning towards the downside here. Nothing really strongly suggesting that we're going to rally much more. This looks like a bear flag which is breaking down towards a retest of this low, and it could well proceed lower from there. CT, I'm wondering whether we're starting a big move up. No current negative divergence. Could see a bit of a pullback here. Lumber, I need to roll this into the next contract because I think the roll was quite substantial on lumber going into the next one. Hang on, let's see if I can see that on the right. Hang on. No, I'll need to have a look at that and sort it out. But we will see how that goes. But I think we may have seen as much rally as we're likely to see. So this double bottom's looking less credible now. On ZW, we've broken up from a little double bottom, and really that's pretty much made the first target. We've reached a possible larger double bottom resistance or possible head and shoulder neckline. I'm wondering about a reversal here to form a right shoulder, and we've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing. On corn, possible little level top here. On soy, heading higher here, and looking at the bigger picture chart, I'm wondering about this going higher still for a while as part of an overall bear flag. On ZL, we've seen a break up from an IHS here, and I'm wondering about a move up here into about the 55.9 area. On live cattle, double bottom trying to break up here, but failing so far at the monthly pivot at 234.54, and HE, a 60-minute sell signal has fixed. And we've got a possible little level top here, so waiting to see what happens there. All right, let's have a quick look at questions. No questions. All right. In terms just to recap on equities here, I'm mainly seeing bull flags on RTY and YM here, and I'm wondering whether these are about to break up. RTY on the future is actually starting to break up now, so I'm thinking these may well deliver today. This would give us, we've got neutral leaning tape today and tomorrow. Friday, the first bearish leaning day of the cycle really is on Friday. So I'm wondering whether we're going to see retests the highs on YM and RTY in the meantime. That will probably carry us to higher highs on ES and NQ as well. All right, great. In that case, I think it's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning.